stand before these Roman walls, where stone remembers every name. The crowds cry out for blood and glory, but I have found a different way. They say a man must fear the ending, must cling to breathe and beating heart. That I have touched a love unending, that death itself cannot pull apart.
To live is Christ, by every breath, a sacred gift I freely give. To die is gain, beyond this death, I find the place where I truly live. No change at all, what faith has spoken, no sword can sever heaven's thread. My life, my death, both won and opened, of the one who conquered death.
We've walked through markets filled with voices, where men trade silver for their souls. But I have made a different bargain, surrendered all to be made whole. They asked me why I face tomorrow without a tremor of fear, because I know the joy so certain that even darkness disappears. To live is Christ, by every breath.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're cracking open a document that, on paper, should be, a story of despair. A letter from a prison cell.
It should be, but it's the exact opposite. And that's the stunning paradox right at the start.
Right. We're diving into Paul's letter to the Philippians, written from a Roman prison around 62 CE. He is literally chained up, facing a possible death sentence.
And yet the one word that just explodes off the page is joy. The Greek words for joy, klassro, rejoice, karo, they appear 16 times in this very short letter.
16 times. And this isn't some kind of forced positivity, right? It's not someone just whistling past the graveyard.
No, not at all. It's presented as this deep, almost supernatural orientation. And our mission today is to really unpack the engine room of that joy. We are going deep on the single most compact confession he ever wrote.
The one that basically powers the whole letter.
Exactly. For to me, living is Christ and dying is gain. Philippians 1.21. We want to see how that single idea allowed him to just utterly subvert the honor-shame culture of his time. This is a masterclass in what we're calling joy in suffering.
Okay, so let's start with the context, with the audience. Who is he writing to?
He's writing to the church in Philippi, which, you can't overstate this, was an intensely proud Roman colony.
So like a little piece of Rome planted in Greece.
A miniature Rome, yes. It's packed with retired Roman soldiers, military veterans. It was full of temples to the emperor, status, citizenship, public honor. That was the air they breathed.
So for Paul, a prisoner, a man in a position of ultimate public shame, to be sending a letter about victory, that must have landed with a thud.
Or a bang. It's an immediate ideological confrontation, and his first point is that his physical chains haven't stopped his mission. In fact, they've accelerated it.
Which seems totally counterintuitive. How does being chained up amplify your message?
Because the chains made him a spectacle. He says his imprisonment became known throughout the whole imperial guard. That's the praetorium. We're talking Caesar's personal bodyguards.
So the gossip in the palace isn't about some political scandal. It's about this strange prisoner who's joyful.
Exactly, and that had a ripple effect. He says because of his chains, most of the other believers became much bolder to speak the word without fear.
Ah, so his courage was contagious.
It was. It showed them that what looked like defeat was actually a platform. But then he gets into something even more shocking.
About his rivals? This part is just incredible.
It's jaw-dropping. He knows that some people are preaching about Christ out of, and this is a direct quote, envy and rivalry. They're trying to use the gospel itself to cause him pain while he's in chains.
Wait, so they're succeeding in ministry to spite him, to make him feel irrelevant and stressed out.
Yes, they think they can afflict him by building their own ministries. And in that culture where your reputation is everything, that should have been a devastating blow.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't. He performs this. Complete mental pivot. He refuses to get bogged down in their motives or his own public image. He has one single criterion, signaled by the Greek plenuti, only that.
And that is?
Only that in every way. Christ is proclaimed, and in that I rejoice.
Wow. So he's saying, my personal honor is irrelevant, my reputation doesn't matter. All that matters is that the mission, the gospel, moves forward.
He's deconstructing the entire mechanism of human pride. This focus on prococ gospel progress over personal reputation was absolutely revolutionary.
Okay, but that kind of indifference to what people think of you, it has to come from somewhere. It has to be anchored in something huge.
It is, and that's the anchor we mentioned earlier, that confession. To live is Christ, to die is net profit. Let's just take the first half. To say to live is Christ.
Which is not the same as saying Christ is an important part of my life.
Not at all. It's a statement of redefinition. Paul is saying Christ is his life. Everything else, his career, his comfort, his safety, his very breath, is just, as one source put it, scenery.
That crashes right into how we think about life, doesn't it? For us, life is success, comfort, maybe just the biological fact of being alive.
Right. But for Paul, existence itself is redefined as participating in Christ's mission. His goal, he says in verse 20, is his eager expectation and hope that Christ will be magnified, Malo, in his body.
Magnified. Made to look great.
Yes, and notice how,
Yeah.
whether by life or by death, his body is just the raw material. It's a platform for making Christ look magnificent.
So, my body isn't something to be primarily protected or pampered. It's a stage.
It's a stage, so if living a few more years allows him to serve the Philippians and magnify Christ, great. If being executed for his faith magnifies Christ in front of the Praetorian Guard, that's also a win. The goal isn't self-preservation, it's Christ magnification.
So if that's what living is, then that completely changes what dying is. Let's get to the second half. To die is gain. The Greek is kritos, like net profit.
Exactly. If Christ is your life, the ultimate treasure, then how can death possibly be a loss? It can't. It has to be a promotion, an upgrade.
He calls it far better.
Far better, because it means departing to be with Christ. And just like that, he defangs Rome's ultimate weapon. The fear of death, which the empire was built on, becomes irrelevant to him.
But he's not suicidal. He's not rushing towards it. He actually talks about being torn.
Yes, he says he's hard-pressed between the two. His personal desire, his preference, is to depart and be with Christ. But he makes a conscious choice to remain for their sake.
For their progress and joy in the faith.
Which is this incredible model of selflessness. He's conquering even the desire for paradise itself out of love for other people.
And this seems to be the very mechanism of his joy. It isn't stoic apathy, just gritting your teeth. It's something else. Our sources call it eschatological invasion.
That's the perfect phrase for it. His joy is not the absence of pain. It is the presence of the future. The future verdict that death is gain, that resurrection is real, has broken backwards into his present prison cell.
So the reality of his future victory is invading his present suffering.
It is. The prison cell is telling him, you are shamed, you are defeated, you are going to die. But this invading reality from the future is telling him, you are a citizen of heaven and the executioner is just your usher. That's what allows him to have joy.
It's a foretaste of the final victory.
And he takes it even one step further. He redefines suffering itself. In verse 29, he says, suffering for him has been graced to you. The Greek is ikiosi.
Which is related to charis, grace.
Exactly. Suffering is a charism, a gift. Not a curse to be endured, but a gift to be stewarded, a way to have fellowship with Christ himself.
A gift that turns everything upside down.
It's a comprehensive declaration of war on the entire Roman value system, and frankly, on our modern one too.
Let's lay that out. The Roman ideal of a good life, of happiness, was basically fortune, honor, and health.
And Paul's reality is chains, shame, and possible execution. And yet he's the one with joy?
Rome's ultimate prize was Roman citizenship. That was the highest status you could have.
And Paul says, no, your true citizenship, your platuma, is in heaven. Your Roman status next to knowing Christ is just rubbish. That's the word he uses later.
And he even uses their own language against them. In 1.27, he tells them to live as citizens, cultus they worthy of the gospel. He's co-opting the language of Roman civic pride and redirecting their ultimate loyalty.
He absolutely is. He's telling a Roman colony that their true colony is the kingdom of God.
You know, there's that one line from our sources that just captures all of this. It's that sticky dagger moment.
It's so good. When Christ is your treasure, prison becomes a palace and the executioner becomes an usher.
That just changes everything. And it's not just a theory for Paul in prison. It's meant to change how we operate, moment by moment.
Right. Let's make it practical. Contrast the response of someone whose motto is, to live is my desires, versus to live is Christ.
Okay, let's try it. Waking up in the morning.
If life is my desires, you wake up thinking, what do I need to get today to feel good about myself? If life is Christ, you wake up thinking, how can my body be a platform to magnify Christ today?
Totally different starting point. Okay, what about an insult? Someone criticizes you unfairly at work.
My desires means instant anger, image management, planning your revenge. To live as Christ means this is an opportunity to magnify Christ by showing patience and forgiveness. It takes the sting out of the insult.
What about big stuff?
Yeah.
Bad news. A scary diagnosis.
My desires is panic. It's a desperate grab for control. But to live as Christ says, okay, whether by life or by death, Christ will be honored. It provides an anchor in the storm. It's the ultimate freedom from being controlled by your circumstances.
So what we're seeing here is a total transformation. Paul in chains is somehow freer than Caesar on his throne.
He is, because his life's bottom line is settled. Life means fruitful service to others. Death means joyful union with his Lord. There's no scenario in which he can lose.
And that's why this letter isn't just a pep talk. It's, as our sources put it, a declaration of war on every lesser story we tell ourselves about what makes life worth living.
It completely dismantles our default settings of pursuing comfort and control. If the resurrection is real, then our pain is temporary noise, but that resurrection joy is the permanent signal that defines reality.
So we'll leave you with this final provocative thought to consider, based on Paul's radical calculus. If joy and suffering is the final proof that the resurrection really happened, then consider this.
What if the worst thing that could happen to you is actually the best platform Christ will ever have in your life?
Something to think about until our next deep dive.
Tomorrow, without a trace.